I hope you're ready. Way cool. Let's move on to the next challenge. Declaring the doc type of an HTML document. Refresh this page, and we'll see, yes, with this and one more. And then we can move on to the next class, which is basic CSS. So you've done a lot so far. We covered a lot of ground, and I'm really proud of you. We've learned a lot. Let's finish this 2 more lessons, and then we can move on to CSS. I really love CSS. And I really like HTML as well. Okay, so declaring a doc type of an HTML document. The challenge so far has been covering specific HTML elements and their uses and their use cases and examples. So there are a few elements that give overall structure to your page. So now we're looking at the structure of the page, right? And they should be included in every HTML document. At the top of the document, so this is basically the document. This is the document. So this whole thing is a document, right? So on top of the document, you need to tell the browser which version of HTML your website or your web page is using. HTML is an evolving language and it's updated regularly. Most major browsers support the latest specification, which is HTML5. However, older web pages may use a different or a previous version of this language. So HTML5 is a language. HTML is a language. So doc type is what we're going to be adding to the document, where the triple dots are part of the version of the HTML. In our case, it is HTML5, and it's just HTML. So I'm going to show you something scary. Maybe scary, maybe not. So this is the code for that page we're on right now, right? The basic HTML and HTML5 declare the doc type of an HTML document is right here. So this is what we're looking at, and right at the top, so you see there's lots of code, right? So I don't want to scare you, but there's lots and lots of code here. This actually is what you see if you're a machine, if you're a robot, or whatever. And this is CSS. I'm just going to go all the way to the top, and then it's more code, right? And right at the top, you see this doc type HTML, and then you see an element HTML, and then you see head, and you see link, and you see a whole bunch of different things. Link, 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 and then you're going to see other attributes like relation, and then title, and name. So the stuff that are in this color, these are attributes, and things that have the angle bracket in front of it, like this. I'm just going to show you everything that's highlighted right now. Link, title, meta, these are all elements. So here we have HTML, and then head, and then link, right? And then we have link again. So these are all elements. Okay, so I don't mean to scare you. I'm just showing you, like, this is what machines and browsers and servers, what they see when they interpret HTML. So this is the first line. On the first line, this is exactly what we saw. On the first line, we see doc type equal to, it doesn't really use just doc type HTML, and this is for HTML5. So they know that it's HTML5. If it's not, you put a 4, like HTML4. You can put HTML4 in front of it, like we used to do. But now the standard is 5. So the exclamation mark and uppercase doc type is very important. So it has to be there has to be an exclamation mark just like the comments, right? Remember the comments we had? Sorry. And then we had the comments. It's the same thing basically. It's like an angle bracket and an exclamation mark, and then the two lines, the dashes or the hyphens or the minuses, is basically the same format as this. And however, Doctype there's no closing tag because it's closed here. Remember comments? It closes here, right? Basically anything in between these two dashes or minuses or hyphens, anything in between here, anything in between here are comments, and thus everything else is invisible. But if you put it outside, then you will see that anything between are not comments because it's not visible. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So the same thing with this is the format is angle bracket, exclamation mark, and close. And this is Doctype. It's self-closing. And you don't need to put a space like that because that's not how it is done. Okay. Next, the rest of your HTML code needs to be wrapped inside the HTML tag, which we saw before. So let's just do that. And this actually is not self-closing. So you need to have a, you need to close it. So let's go back to the source. So here we have HTML. Let's just look at the HTML element, right? Okay, I'm just going to look at HTML here. HTML is the one in orange, right? And you see there's only 3 of them on this page. The first is Doctype, and then HTML, the element, and then if you go all the way down to the bottom, the last thing on the page is, you guessed it, it is the closing tag for HTML. So make sure that it closes the HTML. And there's no Doctype, like I said. Doctype basically is self-closing, and this is the format. Usually people, everything else in between, everything else inside, all the divs, are here. Everything else is here, So you can have multiple divs, and inside the divs you can have, multiple paragraphs. You can indent them all if you want, whichever the case. Like this is basically the format. But there are a few more other things we're going to learn in the next lesson, which is the body and the header tag. So let me just remove all this for now. So the opening goes directly below. You can go next to it really, but for the sake of this, yeah, let's just say it goes below. So Doctype, and here we go. Yeah, here we go. These are the comments. All right. So cool. Okay. So add a Doctype to this HTML document. This is a HTML document now. At the top of the blank HTML document in the code editor. This is the code editor. Under it, add an opening and closing HTML tab and wrap around a H1 element. Okay, so let's do a H1 element. And let's just say, welcome to coding. Alright, welcome to coding. The header can be include any text. So the code should have Doctype HTML, which it does. It should have only one HTML element, which is this is considered one HTML element. Like I said, it's anything inside is inside. This is basically, it wraps around, it envelopes the H1 header level 1 text, which is welcome to coding. And then the HTML tag should wrap around one h1 element, which it does. This is an element and the text inside, right? So that's it. Pretty straightforward, right? Next, we're going to learn something really cool, which is the header and body, and then we are done this section, this class. Congratulations. Okay, good. Let's run the test and let's see what happens. Escape. Velocity reached. We are now in orbit. See you in the next lesson.